Hello everyone, welcome back to Living Gardens Homestead. I thought I'd bring this video to you because it's been a few days since I put one out, and it affected me. The cold hit here and we had some problems, and I'll show you at the later end of this video. I'll show you the plants. I hate that we've had to suffer through this, but like the tomato plants, this was just an experiment for this large of a greenhouse. Now last year in the small greenhouse, it wasn't too hard to keep it heated, but we didn't have this cold front like we had this time last year. It's been really cold during this. I left out of the house, I think it's about 1:30, and we're still 1 below zero. And pardon me if I'm talking funny. That's part of the problem that went on with us here. I got sick a few days ago, and before I got sick I was watching the weather and I was trying to find a good day because we was running a little low on firewood. And I told Jen that I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday was supposed to be some pretty decent days before this storm come through, and there'd be a couple good days for me to get a few good loads of firewood to get us through the week of this. And I've got backup as a 2000 BTU turbo heater that I've got set on a lower setting to keep it from freezing in here, because that uses quite a bit of diesel. And but that's just backup in case the wood goes down enough to where I could have something else kick on to take over the heating. But first, to let you know what happened. First of all, how was your weather through this? This is cold. I mean, really cold. And it got cold quick. But I started getting sick, and I just had a headache and wasn't feeling well. But that was on Monday, I think. And I thought, well, maybe I'll feel better Tuesday. Tuesday's supposed to be a better day that I can get some firewood. So I waited till Tuesday, and I woke up Tuesday. I was even sicker than I was on Monday. And Wednesday, I woke up, and this was going to be my last real good day to get any wood. And I'm telling you, I was so sick, I didn't even want to get out of the bed, really. And but I forced myself up, and you know, each day I go out and I feed and water the hog and the chickens, collect the eggs. And by the way, our chickens are giving us about 1.5 eggs every day now. Except for today, I went out there with this cold, there wasn't a single egg, and that's understandable. But that's the reason I'm kind of talking funny right now, is it didn't get no better. And Thursday, I think it was, I went to the doctor. It was either Wednesday or Thursday, and went to the doctor, and they tested me, and I had influenza A, and it got me down pretty good. But that prevented me from doing a lot of the things I was preparing on doing to get everything ready for this freeze. And it's probably my fault. I should have had things ready months ago, but you know how it is. You know, we put things off to the last minute thinking everything's going to work out fine. Well, it didn't work out fine for us this time. This time, since I couldn't get out this week and get firewood and stuff, we didn't run out of firewood, but I just wanted to make sure we had enough. And I got the stove going to, I think the water in there was like 170 degrees is what I got it set to kick off and on at. and I've got the blower and a radiator up there at the top that blows the heat out from the water, and it normally keeps it pretty good in here. But like I said, you know, if it would use up too much, burn all the wood out, and the water start going down, if it got too cold in here, then I've got the turbo heater to kick on the back up. But needless to say, 4:30 this morning, our power went out. And the reason that I'm saying I know how the power went out is we usually keep a fan on in the bedroom, and that fan went off. When that fan went off, I knew what had happened. I looked outside and snow was all over the ground, and I thought to myself, uh-oh, the winds have started. And they're still going. You can hear the plastic. But anyway, I got up at 4:30, and I come out here to make sure that my fire was good. The fan wouldn't have kicked on because it's already at 170 some degrees. Excuse me. And our hydroponics, well, not on that, but the electric was off to everything out here, which I told you all in the video on hydroponics. The way this is set up, it don't matter if the power goes off because you've got water in your buckets for your plants to grow on. That's the reason I set it up the way I did. But I was worried about that bitter cold and the wind knocking the power out. And sure enough, the wind did knock the power out. A lot of you across the country may not even be able to watch this till later on because your power may still be out. But ours just came back on, I think about an hour ago, and I decided I'm feeling better now. Finally, that cold, I'm getting over it. But anyway, I was just wanting to show you what the cold damage did, because my generator, someone had used the propane that I had a propane tank filled up, and all the ones that I had filled back in the summer, they were all empty, so someone had used all that, and all I had was a little bit left in another propane tank, and I went ahead and hooked that up to my generator, and it ran for about 20 minutes. Everything was fine until then, but when it run out of power, I had no other way to power any of my heating systems in here. So I want to show you some. Now behind me here, the bok choy, you can see it's faring pretty good. The lettuce back behind it, you can see the red leaf sticking out. The lettuce is doing good, but those are like a cold weather plants. Now the peas, I'll start showing you some of the stuff now. But the peas, they're like a cold weather plant, but you can't let the pea pods get cold. But you can see those are doing pretty good. Now the peas themselves, I don't know if you can see it on here or not, but they got little spots on them. So the cold's got them too. And but we've been eating out of them, as you can tell on these. I don't know if you can pick it up or not. But now her basil plants, look what just a few hours before I got this heated back up did to her basil plants. The basil plants are gone. They were struck hard. Now, another thing that I want to show you here, these are the tomato plants. Now, if you remember, I said I was going to try these. I know I was planting them a little late in the year, but I figured I'd have tomatoes about at least December. If you'll notice on the plants, I got one ripe tomato off of them. But if you'll notice, we had tomatoes ready to get ripe. So, but our plants themselves, they're gone. That cold snap last night, when its power went off, it really got the plants. But I'm not really worried about it. I was wanting to shut the greenhouse down for the month of January anyway. But as you can see, the cherry tomatoes, they're gone too. But anyway, I was wanting to shut down in January, and because January there's not a whole lot of daylight, and your plants need daylight to grow good. So I was planning on shutting down then anyway, because it's a lot of trouble and a lot of work trying to keep it heated, especially in January when there's not going to be much daylight for them to grow on anyway. But it looks like I'm going to be sticking to my schedule of January, doesn't it? So I'm going to pull everything up, and I can't leave water in my buckets, because if they freeze, that'll bust all my buckets, and that'd be a lot of cost. And yeah, how's the weather in your area? Did you get the brutal cold? I mean, like I said, it's 1 below now, and with heat I can heat this up. But the circumstances, like the generator, I went today and I got a whole tank of propane, got it filled. I got it back to the house. I hook it up to the generator won't start. I take the hose off the tank, turn the tank on, there's no gas coming out of the tank. It's plugged up somehow. I don't know what happened to it. But I thought, well, I'll just run it off of gasoline. So I put gasoline in it, and I cranked it once, and no, I choked it, cranked it once. It kind of started a little and quit, and I thought, okay, now I'll take the choke off and I'll crank it again. When I cranked it again, this happened. So I said, God's telling me something. It's time to quit growing in the greenhouse for now. But I'll be bringing you some more videos. But come spring, I'm sure we can give you a lot of videos to watch. We've got our bees that we're going to be fooling with. We'll have new plants we'll be growing. It'll be like a new year, a new season. And but anyway, I just figured I'd update you on what this cold blast that came through has done here. And maybe you all can comment and tell me what it's done in your all's area, because I know it's been hard on a lot of people. But anyway, this is James from Living Gardens Homestead. If you don't care, give us a like, subscribe, and share our channel. Thanks a lot, and goodbye.